Hi Simon, you right?
Yes.
So we just spoke a bit because we were talking about your main focus is stadiums and things like that.
Yeah, sports stadiums. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, so I predominantly do so for the LED boards, scoreboards, advertising, pitch ribbon, all that kind of stuff. So anything like that really for the stadiums. So a lot of data integration and visualization, and then normally like a control interface to run all of it basically.
Brilliant. I think you're in the perfect place here then.
Yes, yeah.
There's a bunch of that stuff going on.
Yeah, that's fair bit, yeah.
So they've given me a bunch of questions.
Sure.
So I'm going to try and read them and ask you them.
I'll try and
answer them. It says important, regular. You can see that.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. NDI. Now you probably maybe not had a huge amount of experience with NDI.
A little.
A little bit. Yeah. Okay. So what's one of the misconceptions the industry may have about, I suppose, NDI, but AV over IP in general?
Misconceptions, probably quality and delay, I would say, is probably one of the main ones. Yeah. There's generally a reluctance to rely on it. It's normally seen as a backup as opposed to a main solution. I do use it at some stadiums. Some of the cameras that run, some of the pivot cameras, we get their feeds over NDI and find it works very, very well. But in terms of as a main way of running around the stadium, it tends to be seen as a backup.
I suppose it's that old like digital v analog sort of.
People like what they know, and NDI is new. I mean, it's not actually that new anymore, but it feels new for this industry.
Exactly. Well, that's cool. So. What do you feel that customers are actually, like when they come to you guys to products, what do you think their priorities are then?
These days?
Yeah.
I would say as to make it as simple as from my point of view, as simple as possible for the end user. It seems to be a key is like obviously reliability, and one of the things I feel that we bring is trust in our brand, and I hope that I bring that to clients too. But the main thing, their focus seems to also be in sports at least, is not having to have a room full of such highly technical people and be able to bring in people that are more focused on the sport itself. Like if you're doing baseball, you bring in a stats expert and he's able to run the interfaces that I make, and he doesn't need to understand at all how the system behind it's working, and hopefully I build something that's reliable enough that he doesn't have to.
Well, that's the key with a lot of things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Intuitiveness.
Yes, of course.
It should be easy enough. When we try to build things, we try to build things without a manual.
Yes.
Because it should be a case of I can stumble my way through this and understand what's going on. You know?
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, I suppose it's all we see things or we hear things.
Yes.
You know, I don't necessarily need to know all the other in abouts. You know. Cool. I mean, have you noticed any trends, I suppose, in technology then over the last, 12 months or things? Anything that's particularly caught your that's interesting sort of vibe?
I mean, any trends would be the sort of people are using a lot less tech, expecting more out of it, and I know that's a really vague answer. So, but I
think trends are very vague in themselves anyway.
I mean, I'm avoiding saying AI because I don't want to talk about it, but I'm obviously absolutely using it, and we are integrating it into our systems. But I'm sure loads of people are going to give you AI answers. So
no, I think that's it, isn't it? There's a general vibe that unless you're doing something with AI, you're FM radio.
Yeah. So. There's also I find it myself. There's like this fear, like if I'm not involved, then I'm falling behind. And so I am absolutely using it in my workflows, generally to try and do the jobs I didn't want to do and speed those up. That's how I'm using it. But out of that subject, the other stuff is definitely is people are expecting a lot more out of like smaller tech. For example, one of the things we make is the Ultrix router, right? And there's a small, the one I got in my house is 16 in, 16 out, and it's a 1 RU, and that's UHD. And so people are expecting that kind of performance out of equipment these days. They're expecting, I think that we're seeing less and less of the days of these huge rack rooms and much more condensed and stuff. And of course, one that leads into is one of the priorities for a lot of people now is the environment. And so smaller rack rooms means less power, and that means less
transport as well.
And if you're an OB truck, smaller trucks.
Ethernet's very thin, very light.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's absolutely another trend. We've just made our factory carbon neutral, and so that's obviously another massive focus for a lot of companies at the moment. And obviously, if the kit's smaller and lighter, that weighs into it a lot.
I mean, I know I was traveling a lot when I was younger, doing a lot of sort of live music and things like that. So now when I get up and out of chairs, there is a hesitance. It's like,
Yes.
So anything we can do to save the youth from having to carry 20 XLR cables over their shoulders.
There's
I'm all for.
There's also the other one as well. Talking of back in the day, my early career involved a lot of planes. Over 100k a year in miles. And obviously that obviously environmental impact, health impact. These days I do almost all of my work remotely. Obviously that's a big subject, but I'm thankfully trusted to remote into the huge stadiums and run their scoreboards remotely. And I would say I do 9 out of my 10 projects without even stepping foot in the stadium these days. So that's obviously a big benefit for my personal life as well.
It's funny enough that nobody seems to be able to mention remote working or working from home without then prepending or appending that sentence with trust.
True.
I think that's like, for me personally, there's an inherent guilt because I feel like I should be at the thing, but actually I'm more productive when I'm not there.
Yes.
I'm remotely in some respects. So no, I think that's great. And obviously with AV over IP, do wherever you want. We've
just added a system to our my graphic system that we can basically sync multiple different machines to make, I think, something like 2 billion pixels in real time. We can render in real time if you sync enough machines together. And one of the issues with that is being able to then see that remotely. And so until recently, it was normally as a camera or some kind of multi-viewer and some kind of multi-viewer output and recording, but now we've added a system to ours where you can now output your outputs to a browser, and that is not for live. It's not for but it's
for monitoring,
but it's perfect for preview or monitoring.
Perfect.
Exactly. So stuff like that is brilliant and allows me to work remotely. So
it's such it widens the whole thing up. It's like okay, I can now look at it on my phone. I can now look at my tablet, my iPad, whatever. I don't have to lug this powerhouse and find a 13 amp socket somewhere, or 32 amps.
Exactly.
No, it's brilliant. No, great. Well, thanks very much, Simon.
Great chatting to you. Had a really great time. Thank you.
Yeah,
nice one.
Great.
Cheers.
Take care.
Thanks,
and
mate.
check out Russ. Awesome.